Hello again. One of the ways in which I regularly fall out with some of those who in general support my stance here is that I resolutely reject the idea that immigration is part of a coherent and overarching plan to subvert our way of life and indeed our very identity. There are various theories which posit this idea as the simplest explanation for the fact that 1 million foreigners a year settled in Britain last year. Surely such a great migration of people from Asia and Africa must be planned. I am always sceptical of secret plans which affect millions of people and yet somehow manage to remain out of the newspapers and television. The number of people who must be involved and the scale of the operation which it would entail, and yet not one whistleblower or single document being leaked or coming to light. The security around such a scheme would have to be more strict than the project to develop the atomic bomb. For those who do not know what I am talking about, I should explain that there are those, and some of them comment here, who think that some greater conspiracy exists. The details vary, but it usually involves Jews, and the aim is to flood Europe with black people and those of South Asian heritage. This idea goes by several names, such as the Kalergi Plan or the Great Replacement. My experience teaches me that secrets seldom remain so once more than one or two people are party to them, and that once half a dozen people know something, then they all tell their husbands or wives and one or two best friends, and the details then spread outward at an exponential rate. In any case, I don't think that we really need such a grand project to make sense of what is going on. Some documents from the year 2004 have recently been released which confirm me in this view of the case. There are roughly 750,000 people living in this country who were born in Poland. Then too there are about 1.5 million Romanian. This then is immigration on a huge scale. And was it planned? The evidence is now clear that it was not. There were debates within the cabinet when Eastern European countries joined the European Community about whether the citizens of those countries should at once be allowed free movement or whether there should be a period of 6 months, 2 years or whatever before they had the right to move to Western European countries to live and work. Most countries imposed a delay. And in Britain, some members of Tony Blair's government, people such as Jack Straw and John Prescott, argued strongly that there should be a delay too in this country. They were worried that Britain would be flooded with cheap labour, which would have the effect of lowering wages and depriving British people of jobs. Others, though, argued that a lot of new workers like that would be good for the economy. What is clear is that the government grossly underestimated just how many people would flock here from Poland and other Eastern European countries. John Prescott worried about the effect on social housing. The arguments went back and forth, and in the end, Tony Blair decided that anybody that wanted to could come here from those countries at once. It's plain that there was genuine debate about allowing those people to enter Britain freely, and that the numbers which ended up coming were far greater than the government had planned for. This was not an organised and pre-arranged plan to replace Britain's population, but rather a catastrophic miscalculation. It's much the same story when you look in detail at any of the waves of immigration which we have seen in this country. I'm a great believer in Occam's razor, which suggests that when there are a number of alternative explanations on offer for something which is observed, then it's sound policy to choose the simplest one which covers all the known facts adequately. I also favour another philosophical dictum which is known as Hanlon's razor. This may be expressed very concisely as Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. This really does seem to cover what we have seen as far as immigration is concerned. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item about the documents which were released from the events of 2004.